Welcome to the Real Talk, Real Healing Podcast. This is a place where we heal out loud, grow through what we go through, and choosing peace over pattern. I'm your host, Elisha Adams. Before we get into future episodes about healing, faith, relationship, additions, self-discovery, and personal growth, I want to start by telling you a little bit about my story and how this journey began. A lot of people think that healing starts after you get sober, after you leave a relationship, or after life just finally gets better. But for me, that's not how it happened. The truth is, I became spiritually awakened while I was still using drugs. I was 32 years old. And at that time, I had been using drugs for several years. And I was in a relationship that would end up changing my life forever. Now, I didn't know it at the time. I just thought it was another difficult relationship. But what I didn't realize was that this relationship was about to expose things inside of me that I had never faced before. During arguments and conflicts, I started having flashbacks. Not memories, flashbacks. Moments from my past would come rushing back to me. And for the first time in my life, I started seeing connections between what I was experiencing in the present and things that had happened years before. I started asking questions I had never asked myself before. Why do I keep ending up in the same situation? Why do certain things hurt me so deeply? Why do I stay in relationships that are so hurting to me? Why do I keep searching for love in places that leave me empty? And most of all, y'all, why am I using drugs? For most of my life, I thought my childhood was normal. I loved my mother. I defended my mother. And I never really stopped to think about how growing up affected me. But as these flashbacks started happening, I began looking at my life differently. I started realizing that some of the things I accepted in relationship felt familiar. I started noticing patterns of fear, patterns of people pleasing, pattern of accepting treatment that wasn't healthy, pattern of looking for love while I was ignoring my own pain. And little by little, I started understanding something that changed my life. The drugs were not the roots of my pain. The drugs was covering up pain that I had never fully understood. I didn't wake up one day and decide to use drugs because I wanted to destroy my life. I was searching for something. I was searching for peace. I was searching for comfort. I was searching for love. And one of the biggest realizations I had was this. I knew people loved me, but I never felt love before. That realization hit me hard. Because I had spent so much of my life looking for love outside myself, looking for validation, looking for acceptance, looking for someone to make me feel whole. But during my spiritual awakening, I started learning what love actually is. Love is patient, love is kind, love is honest, love is respectful, love is peaceful, love is supportive, love doesn't control, love doesn't manipulate, love doesn't destroy. And as I started learning what love really was, I started realizing how many things I had called love that really wasn't love at all. That awakening changed me. It didn't make me perfect. It didn't instantly solve all my problems. And it didn't immediately stop my addiction. But it opened my eyes. My spirit woke up before my habit changed. And once my eyes was open, I couldn't go back to sleep. I started going back to my roots. I started reflecting on my life. I started paying attention to my emotions. I started asking hard questions. I started taking accountability for myself. I started reconnecting with God. And most importantly, I started healing. Now, healing hasn't been easy. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still working on myself every single day. But one thing I know for sure is that healing starts with honesty. Healing starts when you stop running from our story. Healing starts when we become willing to face the truth. Eventually, on October the 18th, I made a decision. I decided I didn't want to keep running from my own self anymore. I stopped using drugs, I stopped smoking cigarettes, and I committed myself to becoming the person I knew I could be. Today, my healing looked different. Sometimes it looked like prayer. Sometimes it looked like gratitude. Sometimes it looked like setting boundaries. Sometimes it looked like me just recording voice note and talking myself through my own emotions. Sometimes it looked like choosing peace instead of reacting. And every day I remind myself that healing is a journey, not a destination. If there's one thing I would take away from today's episode, is this. Your story matters. Your healing matters. And no matter where you are in your journey, change is possible. You may not be where you want to be yet, but if you're willing to be honest with yourself and keep moving forward, your life can change. Thank you for spending this time with me today. This is only the beginning of my story. In the next episode, I'll be talking more about the flashbacks that changed my life and how they led me to my roots. Until next time, keep healing out loud, keep growing through what you go through, and keep choosing peace over pattern. I'm Elisha, and I'll see you in the next episode.